Hey. Oh, my camera's. Oh, hello? Hello? Oh no. What? How anticlimactic. USB video. At webcam. Cam link. Hey, we're back. I'm invisible. But get me out of here. Look at that though. Look at that though, people. Let's go. Exciting day today, y'all. Oh, exciting day. All green, which means all done. So, what this means, all of the spells for 0.10 are done. And I mean that. The only thing left is for those spells to be put into a PDF and then ship it. So we absolutely, that process does not take one day though. So Joseph, no, release tomorrow? No. But it does mean, hydration check, we will hit Christmas for sure. Absolutely 100% guarantee DC20 0.10 will be out for Christmas. Boom, right? So it will be the Christmas present that I promised you guys. So it makes me happy to say. But yes, you will get DC20 0.10 for Christmas. Boom. So yes. Liam says, show me a summon spell. There are no summon spells in 0.10.5. The summon spells specifically, there are 0 summon spells because that entire category we're like, if we were to vet these and actually make them all the way through, it would take an extra, and then we would not have hit Christmas, right? So that's gonna be .5. So that was just that had to happen, right? But I will also say there are going to be 126 spells in .10. Woo! That's awesome. That's awesome. 126 spells is the number, not 400 or whatever number people were worried about. Sanctuary, yes, is in the game. Hamazavif, Sayed Hamzasif. Hey coach, what are rules for multiple burning creatures? If I throw a burning creature on another, will the other creature burn also? Burning creatures bump into each other. That doesn't spread the burning unless the game master wants to adjudicate it that way, and they want the burning to spread, or they want to have an enemy that has that mechanic. But in general, burning creatures don't just cause burning. Fire doesn't. If I have a torch and I just hold it up next to somebody, you know what I mean? That's more of a GM adjudication stuff, right? So boom. Hype, get the spells here. Lizzie and I say hi. Hey Lizzie, hey Joe. Hype, get them spells in here. Heck yeah. All right, so speaking of getting spells in here, I got a spell showcase to give you guys, okay? Okay, I got a spell showcase. All right, now. First of all, we had to have a timeout. We gotta have a timeout talk. Okay? BR making flammable monsters. All right. So before I do the spell showcase, I'm gonna show you guys 4 spells. I'm showing you guys 4 spells, right? So I'm super excited for that. But I did want to address something and talk about something and get it out there for some concerns that have been swirling around the community, right? I have a patron Q&A, and they asked me this question, and I did a video response, and they're like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. You should tell everyone. So, okay, yeah, I'll tell everyone. So some insights into DC20 magazine versus Kickstarter content and all that kind of stuff, where content goes, releases, and stuff like that, right? So my analogy to this is Unearthed Arcana. In fact, let me turn this here just so we can have a real talk right here. We're gonna have a real talk, okay? My analogy. There we go. Well, hold up. I want to make sure I can see you guys. There we go. Okay. My analogy is Unearthed Arcana from D&D, right? It's a great avenue for D&D to release content, get feedback on it, and then go forward. I think it gets bogged down, and I think one of the problems with Unearthed Arcana is they released it to the masses, and it's really hard to get feedback from literally the world, like everyone. You know what I'm saying? It's very hard to parse that feedback all across the board when you do it like that, right? So that's I think an issue with Unearthed Arcana, right? So what the purpose of DC20 magazine is unrefined. I'll explain what I mean by that. Early access to to playtest material, right? That playtest material might make it into a core rules, might make it into the advanced gameplay guide, might make it into monster manual, might make it into the campaign setting book, might make it into the expansion where we released the artificer, might release it, you know what I'm saying? It could be any book, the core rules, or any book that has not yet been released or kickstarted or even whatever, right? That is the, that's what the goal is. So the three parts of that is unrefined, early access, playtest material. Kind of just talked about the playtest material. It is material that we are testing out. We're just going for it, right? It is not heavily vetted and put through the ringer of the extreme design process that I have shown here on how DC20 is made, of my entire dev team, myself, everyone going through the process, getting the words right, getting the efficiency of the language right, getting the balance right, the math, all of it, right? That is not all the way done because it's not the official release product yet. It is playtest material, and it's purposely like that so that we can get out more of it, get more feedback, and then refine things that we've gotten feedback on and that people want, right? That's been so useful in the last 2 years plus of the public development of DC20. It's been so helpful to be able to release things to patrons and be able to get their feedback, right? And that's where the early access comes in. Yay, early access. So if you back the Kickstarter, you will get the final product and all releases of updates all the way to the whole thing. That's what you get. You get the full product at a great discount. That's the whole point of the Kickstarter. But early access is different, right? So, and it's also not the same thing as something I would release in the Kickstarter. The big picture, I have not put anything into the Kickstarter. The PDFs that I released through Kickstarter, 0.8, 0.9, 0.10, all this stuff. I have not released a single word of or concept or anything. I've not released anything to the Kickstarter PDFs that I did not think could possibly just be the final version. You know what I'm saying? Everything that's going into the Kickstarter is something the team has completely vetted. I have completely vetted. It has gone through the ringer, right? That's what goes into the Kickstarter, because the Kickstarter audience is it's very important to the health of the game. Patreon's very important to help they keep things going. Yes, don't want to take away from that. But the 20,000 Kickstarter backers, that's crazy. That's a huge, that's what launched us into this thing in the first place. I want to be very careful when I release things to that audience, because a lot of them are deciding if they should play DC20 or not. A lot of them are waiting for that next update to be like, is this, do I like these changes? And they're still evaluating, right? So I can't be reckless and loosey-goosey with things I release to Kickstarter. I don't think that's responsible as a game designer, as a creator. I don't think I want to send out stuff to Kickstarter that's just like, this is a cool idea, let's see what happens. That's crazy to me, right? That's what I mean by unrefined. So DC20 magazines are for unrefined information, right? My two great examples are the social system and the Shadowborn ancestry. Those two systems are going to be in the core rules of DC20. So some of the heat that I've been seeing is, oh, why is he releasing stuff to patrons and not to Kickstarter backers? Why don't those things just go in the next Kickstarter update? So let me answer that. One is, first of all, it's the early access thing. That's a small piece of it, is early access. Like, okay, cool. Here, that's part of the perk of patrons that help support DC20 even more than usual. Early access, that's nice. But what actually helps the game more than just a cool perk patrons get, the core reason as to why, is the social system was not vetted by my team. My own dev team was working on spells. We just released the social system as this month's patron PDF is the social system. The team proposed a social system. I did not like it because I had my own social system that I've been running for 2+ years, and games and home games and convention plays. And I was like, oh man, you know what? You guys keep working on spells. I don't think this is a good idea to stop my dev team from working on spells. Do y'all want that? I don't think y'all want that. We just finished spells. You know what I'm saying? I would have had to stop them working on spells for them to come over and then us work on the social system, completely stopping 0.10. Because the social system's not part of 0.10. It's part of 0.14 or whatever. So I would have had to stop them from doing that to come over and then us work out the social system, fully refine it. And then, yeah, of course, if we did that, then we'd release it to Kickstarter. Of course. But that's not what happened. So I had to make a judgment call. And that judgment call was, I'm going to release this, which is only by me, to the patron DC20 magazine. And then the team can keep working on spells so we can get the spells out. You know what I'm saying? That was the whole thing. And then for ancestries, the ancestries, Shadowborn ancestries specifically, those 4 ancestries, the team vetted. I had a bunch of ideas and outlines from my notes from years past, all these different things about with gremlins and all these other stuff. I had all my notes. They took my notes and ran with it. But that's as much as involvement as I had. I had a ton of brainstorm, and I never got to sign off on it. So at the time when those ancestries came out, it was around 0.9. And I valued 0.9 getting out there more than be like, hold up, guys, 1 second. Let me take, and then stopping and going through that. So I was not able to feel good about vetting all of the ancestries and doing my process, which is a longer process. I didn't want to hold everything back. So I put that in a DC20 magazine. Cool, DC20 magazine. Let's get patron feedback on that. And then I'll do my process, right? So I'm going to do my process on those 4 ancestries when we do the ancestry audit, probably in 0.11 or 0.12. And then we'll have all new ancestries. Will get kind of balanced, tuned, and tweaked, and maybe make some changes, some lore drops, and all that kind of stuff. That's when that's going to come, when we release it to the full Kickstarter, right? So that's the big picture. So early access I already talked about. That's the unrefined thing. And the concept of releasing it to patrons, a specific audience that is very passionate about DC20. That audience is more resilient to wild ideas that maybe are like not something I should. Oh, that's a crazy idea. The proof in the last 2 live streams ago, I was talking about spells. I mentioned for one sentence 400 spells an idea. And comment section and or Kickstarter posts ran with that comment. I was like, oh, see, this is ridiculous. I don't want to play DC20 anymore. The spells, I thought the spells were going to be, and they're now maybe leaving the game because of a one little comment that I made about something. So that's the type of volatility that I am worried about releasing it to the public or to Kickstarter PDFs instead of a patron audience that is a bit more understanding, resilient, flexible, and inquisitive towards ideas, and be like, oh, that's a crazy idea. A good example of a gray area of what I want. Because in general, the DC20 magazines are just content I want to get out for you guys that's going to be way down the line in other books. In general, the Kickstarter DC20 magazines have not been core rules content. The only time it has been is this gray area situation, right? So anyway, a good example of something I'd want to do with spells is we just made 126 spells. It's going to 0.10 update. You know what I think a cool DC20 magazine would be? What are the spells that didn't make the cut? What are the spells that were like, that's crazy? I have like 8 spells on one of these tabs right here that I could be like, you know what? What if we throw these at make a DC20 magazine out of it? I think that's a great idea. I think that's good for the game. I don't think it would be good for me to put those wild, wild west spells into the full Kickstarter game and scare people away. I want to playtest that in a smaller audience than 20,000 people or the world. How many people have bought this thing now compared to a couple hundred patrons? You know what I'm saying? And it's also easier to get the feedback from there and get a pulse check of how that's going and then apply it and learn from it and grow, right? So that's my concern. My biggest concern, right? And I'm about to do a poll on this. I want to get y'all's feedback right now in this live stream. My concern is, what do I do? Because what is best for the community? Right now, the community is upset, or at least some part of the community is upset and speaking out on this, right? I think the problem is if I were, and what I think the community is saying is to not release anything that's going to go into the Kickstarter in a DC20 magazine. I think that's what a lot of people have said. And I worry about that, because if I do that, that means it's going to slow down the development of things, because I'm going to have to either stop my dev team to come over and fully vet the stuff to be able to put it into the things. I can't do the release schedule that I've talked about. I would have to stop and then do certain things like the social system, or I would have to take the social system and just not publish it for months and like have it playable in a way that I play it and I love it. I'd sign off on it, right? My dev team hasn't yet, but I love it. And I want to give that out to people, right? And I think the best place to do that is the DC20 magazine, right? So that's my concern. So slowing down production or decreasing quality is one of the things that would have to happen if I'm having to. Okay, well, I can't release that to the. It's eventually going to go. A good example: mounting rules, mounted combat. we had that slated as another DC20 magazine, but I had to almost pull it and be like, should I release this? Or is everyone going to be upset about this? The mounted combat is kind of a little bit wild and crazy. Oh, what's going on here? Let's see how people think about that, right? Let's see what people think, right? I think that'd be fun and a good DC20 magazine content. Is that enough to put into a Kickstarter update wrapped around mount? No, it's a small little thing, right? So anyway, right? So there's a lot of different options that I have gone through as far as the like, okay, don't release it. Okay, release it to Kickstarter, release it just the magazine, whatever. So what my question is for what should I do is unrefined Kickstarter PDF, I read that, or what I've been doing is release the unrefined stuff to patrons, and then once it's refined or ready to be put into the timeline of the actual release, put it there. And there's that. So the clarification. Oh, also a clarification. Anyone who purchases Kickstarter will get all that content. Period. That's going to happen for sure, right? But I wanted to go through the process that gives you the best end product to that, right? So here's my question. Just to try and get a pulse check of the community. I know this is within the live stream and I can do a bigger poll if needed, but I wanted to just get a pulse check of this right now, right? What should I do? My question is, and this is what the poll is going to be. Right, here's the poll, right? The poll, I'm going to make the poll right now. Start a poll. The question is, should I release core rules content early on the DC20 magazine? Should I'm going to even say occasionally. Should I occasionally release core rules content early as a DC20 magazine? Answer is yes or no, right? Say yes if I should release core rules content. That is what I've been doing. So the answer yes would be keep doing what you're doing. The answer no would be no. Anything that's going in the Kickstarter should be gated and barred off and no early access, right? There's the poll, right? So, yeah, I will for sure be able to do bigger polls and things like that. But I just wanted to do one here as a starter point. What if Kickstarter backers had tokens to grab a few magazines as a compromise? That's the hard part, Ozzy, is DC20 magazine, as far as Kickstarter backers goes, Kickstarter backers, by the way, in general, the whole purpose of the Kickstarter backer is to support the project and get not early access, that's the patron thing, is to support the project and get a super big discount on the product, right? The $95 tier on Patreon is worth probably about $300, $400, $500. It's insane. So anyone who had the $95 tier or higher is got a steal of a deal. My goodness, especially when you factor in all the, oh my goodness, right? So much stuff's in there, right? And the magazines are completely different. So as far as like, I have content to give out, I don't think fair necessarily to say like, oh, I backed the Kickstarter, I need all these things. You know, that's not what was part of the Kickstarter. If that's the case, I could make a Kickstarter tier that like also gets DC20 magazine stuff, but then I would have had to change things, right? So there we go. 87% are saying keep things the way they are. Yeah. So, and 75% steal of a deal, right? Yeah, so this poll, I always do this as far as this goes. Whenever I poll things, I've also seen people on Kickstarter posts be concerned when I do polls in these live streams. That's not the only data I go off of by any means. It's a piece of data with obviously biased content towards people who are tuning in and all that kind of stuff, right? And I also will get caught up on the super chats. I will get caught up on the super chats, I promise, right? So yeah, now, what was the other thing I was going to say? Magazine, future magazine content, spells. Forgot. There we go. The Kickstarter early backers, Kickstarter. Oh, there's the thing. A cool announcement that I want to make here now too is there is a big project that's been worked on. Zipron Disney, if you're familiar with who he is writing an adventure, a mini adventure, I should say, a 4-shot, a 3-shot, a 4-shot. It's like not a 1-shot. It's like a 3 or a 4-shot. A lot of work has gone into this. I have a meeting about it this week, and we'll see exactly where it's at. It's completely written. We're just now trying to format it to the new style of the DC20 adventure style, which I've talked about before, right? I also appreciate all the comments about like y'all believe in me and keep doing what you're doing. Don't let the haters hate or whatever like that. I appreciate. I see those. I don't want you to act. I don't want to act like I don't see that. So I appreciate y'all for real. Yeah. Appreciate y'all. More than you know. So there is a 3-shot in the works, and what I'm going to do with this 3-shot, it is called the Tower of Zaman. It is a super cool adventure. It has a whole bunch of custom art made for it. It is the most amount of effort put into an adventure, and it's something Zipperon is a trial version of Zipperon to write an adventure for DC20, because Zipperon is also writing the starter campaign intro for DC20. So the byproduct of this is going to be a PDF that I could sell on the website. It's going to be a full 3-shot adventure with new mechanics, with a whole bunch of like monsters and traps and challenges and all this other stuff in there. It's going to be a whole thing. I got all the art done for it. I was going to just have it on the plan originally a year ago was to just have this be, it's a PDF that can actually just go to the website. And it's not going to be a DC20 magazine. It's too big to be a DC20 magazine. It's not going to be it's not part of the Kickstarter stuff, because all the Kickstarter stuff was like one-shots and magic items and monsters and other things like that. So I think the perfect thing for this is to release it for free to Kickstarter backers as a thank you, and all in some ways an apology for things taking so long, right? I think that is the best move. So if you back the Kickstarter, which also kind of goes back to what I was just saying about Kickstarter backers. What about Kickstarter backers getting DC20 magazines? I don't think Kickstarter backers should get DC20 magazines. I don't think that's the move. But I think a fair and good move is to give Kickstarter backers who've been waiting around for a while. Yes, it's taken longer. I apologize for that. But I think that's a fair move, right? And yeah, so DC20 magazine feedback is in on Discord, in the Patreon section of Discord, for sure. We got whole channels in there, so yeah. And then so I just wanted to give that away for free to Kickstarter backers. That's definitely. The goal right now is not to like squeeze out and make more money from the content we make. That's not my goal. It would be way better to release it on the website as you know what I'm saying. I just think that's the best move of what I want to do, is just get out more adventures. If I can, I told this to my team, I was like, because I told them that, and they're like, oh damn, okay, wow, cool. The community will love that. 20,000 people just get it for free. So the thing, and that's all Kickstarter back, not just the digital reward tier. That's everybody, for even if you just bought the $30 PDF, right? What was I saying? If I could go back and do this all over again, I would release more adventures and more one-shots instead of just the hunted. I would have like 3 or so, right? And like more monsters and more, I would have done that, right? Anyway. So now, Dustbreaker says, Wizards of the Coast is a multi-million-dollar company with hundreds of employees to review UA content. DC20 Magazine's feedback is reviewed by like 10 people. Not too far off. It's really like, 7 or 8 people would review that. So yeah. That's funny. Thank you, Playmaster. Yeah, nice. And I will go back and get all the rest of the super chats as well. But y'all didn't come here to talk about this. Y'all came here to talk about done. Nope, not this one. Boom. Yes. The live stream showcase. Death Bolt, baby. Here is the spell showcase. It is time for some spells, people. Appreciate the kind words. I wanted to get this out there. If anyone in the community is confused or concerned about any of the things I was just talking about, point them to this live stream. This is now a public thing to be able to kind of reference, timestamp it, all that stuff, right? The Death Bolt. Toll the Dead from 5e, etc. This is our version of it, and a remixed Death Bolt from the original Death Bolt that was a DC20 Death Bolt. Okay, so in fact, let me make this a little bit bigger. Whoa, not that much bigger. Oh God. Oh nope, that's not what I want. Okay, let's duplicate this. Okay, and then we're gonna have this be a little bit bigger. Yunk, and that looks good. All right, Death Bolt. Conjure a bolt of negative energy that flies towards an enemy of your choice. Range spell attack against a PD. 1 umbral damage. Boom, checks out. Also, keep in mind, you are going to be able to increase the damage you deal with spells with your spell focuses in 0.10. Just like marshals get weapons that have weapon properties, spellcasters get spell focuses that have spell focus properties. One of those being damage, and you will be able to increase your damage by 1 from this spell, right? So it could deal 2 damage if you pick the damage spell focus. Anyway, and that's true for all damage spells in general. All right, here we go. This is a spell passive. This is another example of something. A lot of the damage spells have spell passives based on their damage type. So the spell passive is obscure for Umbral is the light level in the target space decreases by 1, right? This doesn't stack to where you eventually get mega darkness or magical darkness or whatever. No. It just decreases by 1 and does not stack in that crazy way. You cannot create magical darkness with this. No worries. And then what are we calling these? DC20 base spells? Oh, this is just a spell. There are no cantrips in this way. That's another thing I guess I should say now. There are no more cantrips in DC20. There are spells, and there are spells that have a base mana cost of 0, like this one, and there's a spells with a base mana cost of 1, there's spells with a base mana cost of 2, etc. Right? There could probably be a colloquial phrase of like level 0, level 1, level 2, level 3 spells based on the base mana cost. That might be something that we talk about, but at the end of the day, it's a spell. Just like you have maneuvers, spells. That's it. Simple as that, right? Flat out spells. All right. So 10 space range with this bolt, you shoot it across, umbral damage, bam. Spell enhancements, though, is where the spell comes alive. You see what I did there? The death bolt spell comes alive. Anyway, range enhancement, that's normal. Repeatable up to 2 times. So you could spend 2 action points to jack up the range to 20 spaces if you really focus on it. Damage, again, 1 AP, repeatable. Increase the damage by 1. I'll come back to that in a second. Doom, X AP. You see what that is? You understand that right there. The target makes a repeated charisma save. The failure of the target is doomed. If you're not familiar with the doom condition, it decreases your max HP by 1, or in this case, X, however much AP you spent into it, right? Spend 2 AP, it'd be doomed 2. Their maximum HP would be reduced by 2. And any creature that is doomed cannot recover hit points. They cannot regain hit points. That is the big scary part of doomed. And this is what makes this the partially that, that death bolt stopping, healing, dampening thing. But then my favorite enhancement is Call of the Grave. 1 mana point, you add a D12 to your attack checks if the target is bloodied. Ooh, baby. Cost a mana point. So it's you're spending mana for that, but you add a D12 to your attack check if the target is bloodied. Oh, sick. Killing them, baby. Death bolt. And then Wither. The target makes a repeated charisma save. You spend X MP once again. Repeated charisma save, and if they fail to save, the target is cursed for the duration. And the creatures cursed in this way take X umbral damage, however much is spent, at the start of each of their turns. And there you go, right? So it's a curse, a umbral damage dot, basically, right? So yes. Now, one thing to note here is AP on spells. It is a baseline rule. We talked about this last week. You can spend 1 mana point to gain 2 action points worth of spell enhancements, right? So right here, if I wanted to, I could spend 1 mana to increase the damage by 2, because I would spend 1 mana and I'd gain 2 action points to use on this, right? On the spell enhancements. So I could spend 1 mana and do damage and increase the damage by 2. I could do damage range and increase the range by 1 and the damage by 1, right? Or the range by 5, sorry. The range by 5 spaces and the damage by 1. You get the idea, right? So customizable, baby. Customizable. And that's the Death Bolt. Boom. Death Bolt. Ha ha. Liam says we want to see Moonbeam. Moonbeam. I believe it's called Radiant Beam. But there is a Moonbeam. Don't you worry. So there we go. Quit and just make pole vaulting videos. Wheeler thinks that I should quit and just make pole vaulting videos. If you think that's mean, thank you, Wheeler. If you think that's mean, you should watch the interview that Bardic Aggravation did where I talk about there's another scenario where I would have been a pole vault YouTuber. So yeah, that's a whole nother thing, right? So yes, exactly. The Punisher. I love the way spells encompass multiple due to enhancements. Exactly. Death Bolt has an identity. Death Bolt is cool. You will use Death Bolt from levels 1 to 20. You can use Death Bolt. It's so cool, right? Heck yeah. There's Death Bolt. Next spell. And then I'll get caught up in super chats. Firebolt. Whoa, no. Oh, Firebolt. I see. Firebolt, right? So Firebolt now, I wanted to show, I'm showing 4 spells. So I'm not trying to, don't think I'm trying to be sneaky and do Death Bolt, Firebolt, ha, right? That's the only 2 spells you get, right? So that's Death Bolt. I want to show another Bolt spell to show that, oh, wait a second, 10 spaces, PD, fire damage. Woohoo! It's the same thing. If I remove these spell enhancements, oh my gosh, 10 spaces, 1 umbral damage, targets PD, a spell passive. It's the same structure here, right? Bolt, right? What would that spell do? But the spell passive here is Ignite. Fire spells will have this. Flammable objects that are not being worn or held in the target space catch fire. Creature can spend 1 AP to put out the fire. Sick. Nothing crazy, but it's just flavor. You know what I'm saying? A little bit mechanic sometimes. Here are the spell enhancements for Firebolt. Bloop. Range, damage. These are the same. Don't even have to read them. They're the same. They all work the same. Everything has a range and a damage. They all work the same. So you really only need Burning and Flaming Missile. Burning, 1 action point, repeatable. Repeatable just means you can take this enhancement multiple times. 1 target of your choice makes a repeated physical save for burning. Done. You add the burning condition for 1 AP, right? Now keep in mind, I could spend 1 mana point. I could spend 1 mana point gaining 2 action points worth of spell enhancements, and I could do burning damage. I could do range burning. I could do burning. I could do burning, and they burn for 2 damage. You know what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Now, Flaming Missile is the unique one for Firebolt. 1 action point and XMP. Stay with me on that. If XMP is confusing people, I'd like to know if it's confusing. I don't think it is, but I want to explain it. So you spend 1 action point plus XMP. Choose X additional targets within range using the same spell attack for all targets. It turns, very unique, this is the only spell that does this, it turns a single target attack into a multi-target attack. You can hit somebody 10 spaces that way and 10 spaces that way, blam, right? And you pay 1 action point and 1 mana point per additional target. So you spend 1 action point in general, just because you're targeting multiple things now. You've doubled the spell. It's crazy, right? And you can add more targets, right? Makes complete sense to me. Thank you, Code Alchemy. Right? Scorching Ray, you get the idea. OMG Ulrus. Yes, you see it. You see it. There's Firebolt, people. There's Firebolt. And see, there we go. So much work has been put into these spells to not only have them be simple, understandable, consistent, iconic, unique. There we go. One of the things that slowed down spell production is I did my first pass with the team whenever we did all these different things. And one thing that I realized that I had to set a standard of, it's a very high standard. It took a lot longer to do because I set the standard, but the team crushed it. We had so many ideas. Oh my gosh. Literally each of us were like, oh man, your idea for the fire was crazy. Your idea for chaos was nuts. Your idea for ice. Oh my God, that's the answer. So many of this. Every single spell has, this is crazy to say for 126 spells. Every single spell has 1 unique enhancement that is only its. Is that good English? So Flaming Missile is the only spell enhancement that, and Firebolt gets it. That's it. Now, Burning is going to go on a lot of fire spells, of course. Range and damage goes on virtually every single damage spell there is, right? Range enhancement goes on so many spells, right? And that's by design, is to have general spell enhancements that literally so many spells can get, and you see it and you already understand it, right? Once you know how to cast this spell, you know how to cast this spell, you know what I'm saying? But then they have that unique enhancement, right? There we go. So, yeah, those Reddit folks, get out of here. All right, now, next spell. Whoop. Freeze. I'm so excited for this one, y'all. All right, do y'all remember last week I showed Bind, which is Hold Person. It's DC20's Hold Person. Bind is the force. I can't move, and they're stuck, right? And you can even like crush them, suffocate, like, you know what I'm saying? But freeze is the ice version of that. Let's see what two similar spells of different schools, different sources of magic, etc. do with this, right? Freeze. One action point, 1 mana point, 10 spaces, last a minute. You gather freezing wind around a target within range for the duration. Make a spell check contested by the target's repeated might save. Failure, target is slowed for the duration. While slowed in this way, the target takes 1 cold damage at the start of each of their turns. So now, this is interesting. It's a slow with a cold dot. So again, this is the baby version of the spell. Freeze, this is the baby version. This is 1 action point, 1 mana point. You can pick this spell up at level 1, right? This is a level 1 spell. It's a hydration check. Thank you, Miss Dustbreaker. Appreciated. Okay. So this is the baby version. Another cool thing in DC20 is these spells don't have to start off being so unattainable that you want to get that spell, but you have to be level 13 to be able to get it. You know what I'm saying? Water. Drinking water. Hey, what's up, Mr. King? So this spell I'm about to show you guys, which is a crazy powerful freeze, is a scary spell. But the baby version, 1 action point, 1 mana point, this is what you get. You know what I'm saying? Now, spell enhancements. Buckle up. Range. Surprise, surprise. I'm not even going to read this one. You increase the range. Brittle. While slowed in this way, the target gains vulnerability 1 to physical damage. They're brittle. They become brittle, right? So you're weakening them. While they're slowed, they're also vulnerability 1. And that's as many attacks. That's scary. Vulnerability 1 increases the damage they take by 1 on all physical damage, right? Get ready, right? Hammer time, exactly, right? Now, does it stack? I can answer that question with does it stack because it's not repeatable, right? It's not repeatable. If it could stack, it would say 1 MP, comma, repeatable. It is not repeatable, and you know why, right? Because that's scary already. Frostbite, next enhancement, Frostbite. 1 MP, repeatable. The target gains an additional stack of slowed, and the damage the target takes at the start of each turn increases by 1, right? They get even more slowed. Slowed 2, slowed 3, slowed 4. So if you pump a bunch of mana into this, let's just say I'm going to spin the wheel, 3 mana. The spell costs 1 mana. You spend 2 more mana here. So they would be slowed, damage. They would be slowed 3 and take 3 cold damage at the start of each of their turns. You know what I'm saying? Like, whoo, that's cold, baby. But then here's the kicker. And this is one of my favorite spells. Frozen Solid. XMP. The target becomes stunned X for the duration. If you're unfamiliar with the new stun condition, stunned X is you lose 1 action point. Whenever you lose 1 action point of your 4 action points, you lose 1 action point. So stunned 1, okay, now you have 3 action points instead of 5. You have 3 action points instead of 4 that you're working with. Stunned 2, stunned 3, stunned 4 is you lose your turn, right? Crazy. Now, the amount of mana you have to spend to do that is a ton, right? Because if I want to try to go for stunned 4, you're going to have to spend 4 mana for this enhancement plus 1 from the base spell. That's 5 mana. You can't even cast that spell until you're level 10, right? So crazy. And if you want to do a max level 20 spell of this, would be stunned X. You'd have that. That's 5 mana. You could add brittle to it to make it 6. And then you would add 4 more enhancements of frostbite. And you can increase the range if you wanted to. Crazy. So then you would have a spell that they would be stunned, slowed 4, take 4 damage at the start of their turn. Level 20 spell. Wild. Now, Bottled No says losing your turn is still unfortunate. Yes. And if you wanted to use this spell against your players as a game master, absolutely. And you would be able to be guided by that, by how much stunned cost. And you wouldn't even be able to cast this unless you had a level 10 monster in the first place, right? And keep this, repeated might save. It's repeated. So even if you fail it the first time, you're not just permanently stun locked and you're just done. It's repeated might save to drop it, right? So there we go. There's freeze. Now, this spell is wild. Chaos Bomb is the next spell we're going to do. Wheeler, are you still here, Wheeler? If you are, you're welcome. This is Chaos Bomb. This is Mortal's baby right here. Which is Mortal's after my own heart on this one. Y'all know I love me some wild magic. There's plenty. There's multiple wild magic spells in the game, and when I say wild magic spell, I literally mean chaos magic, like magic that is like the actual spell itself is wild magic, right? Not just the wild magic table, right? So I had so many notes on wild magic. Mortal took those notes, tucked them and bundled them up, and just ran with them in the coolest way. I love Chaos Bomb. Here's Chaos Bomb. Chaos Bomb. Hold up, I gotta save the table. Chaos Bomb. Conjuration, Arcane, Chaos. 2 action points, 1 mana point. It's an area of effect. Right? Range is 5 spaces, shorter range. Okay, buckle up. Duration's a minute. You conjure a tiny sized Chaos Bomb in a space within range. At the end of your turn, make a fate check. Fate roll. This should say fate roll. Mortal, I think you're in here. Send a note to it. It should be a fate roll. Anyway, make a fate check. Result 10 or above, the bomb explodes. So you are creating already, before I even show you anything else, you're creating a bomb that you don't know when it goes off. You don't know when it goes off, right? At the end of each of your turns, you make a fate roll and see if it explodes or not, right? And then detonation. When the bomb detonates, roll a d12 to determine the bomb's damage type on this lovely table right here. You have a d12 table. Yes, this table is going to be referred to, and you're going to have a wild damage table. 1 through 12, right? Yes, 50-50. It's not 50-50 by design. Yes, King Leech. That is on purpose. This is the D12 damage table, with 12 being true damage and 1 being bludgeoning, and it going whoop all the way up from there, right? The bomb detonates. You roll D12 to see what happens. Make a spell attack for free against the AD of each target. So you're making a spell attack. This is your AD spell attack versus the AD, right? Against their intelligence save. And if they hit, they take a damage of the damage type, and they roll a save against the condition type. So it's a random damage and a random condition at a random time when the bomb explodes. And yeah, right? So much fun. But wait, there's more. There's more fun, right? Now, oh look, there's Mortal's in the document right now. You see his little, you see him poking around right there? There he is. Look at him. Oh God, he's dancing. All right, anyway. Here's the spell enhancements, right? Range and damage. There's no surprise there. That's the same as the other ones before. There you get the idea. There you go. Now, chaotic expansion, 1 action point. When you roll for detonation and it doesn't detonate, the diameter of the sphere increases by 1 space. So it's getting ready to blow. So if it doesn't detonate, the sphere gets bigger by 1, which may or may not be good. You know what I'm saying? You might not want it to be too big, right? And then controlled entropy, 1 action point. When you roll the fate check, you roll twice and choose which result to use, right? So it gives you a bit, you roll with advantage, technically. You roll 2 dice and you choose which dice to use. So you can make it, it gives you the ability to make it explode sooner or make it not explode, depending on how you want, right? And then sticky. Sticky. When you cast the spell, you can attach the Chaos Bomb to an object or creature within range. If the target is not willing, no. They can you make a spell check against their agility save. On a success, the bomb is magically attached and stuck to the target. Creatures can spend 1 AP to try and make a trickery check to try and get the bomb off to remove it. On a success, they can detach it and it is removed, right? And on a success by 5, they can actually detach it from themselves, right? So you can go up to an ally and try and get the sticky bomb off of them and get it onto you And if you succeed by 5, you can actually get rid of it, right? But you might actually take it off of them. And if you don't succeed by 5, it's stuck on you now, right? So I think this is fun. And I wanted to showcase this because this is what DC20 is all about, right? This is it. This is it. Merry Christmas, y'all. Merry Christmas, y'all. So boom, there's spells, baby. There's some spells. So yeah, so excited. That spell is the bomb. Yeah, knuckle bomb. Yeah. Worst hot potato ever. Yeah. Yeah. So that's what you have to look forward to with all the spells. I think every spell is awesome. And I can't wait to ask people when I like meet them at conventions or something, what's your favorite spell? And I genuinely think it's going to be such a wide breadth of spells because all spells have a shot at being someone's favorite because you can enhance them and do something wild and crazy. There's another spell I want to say that's popped into my head where imagine a radiant beam of light from the heavens, moonbeam-ish, right? Radiant damage, cylinder of light from the heavens, radiant damage. That's cool. That would be a normal spell in 5e. I'm not trying to dunk on 5e right now. That would be a solid spell, and then you're done. And you wipe your hands clean, and that's done. How easy is that to make? Get out of here. The enhancement for that spell is Divine Chains, where you can shackle and tether people to within that cylinder of light, and they take radiant damage from the Divine Chains that they are now strapped down and tethered down by. Like, crazy. Are you kidding me? Like, this is so cool. The spells just get so cool, right? Vapora Light enchantment spells is next week. There's not many enchantment spells. A lot of the enchantment spells were pushed to .5, but there are some. I think I'm going to show Charm. I'm going to show Charm next week. I think I've slated that one out for there. I've shown 4 spells this week, so there's the rundown there. But maybe I'll do Darkness. I'll add the Darkness spell in there for you, Vapora. So now let me get caught up on the super chats. Talked about a lot of stuff today. So let me get caught up on the super chats. I'm going to do super overtime mode. Jeff Chambers, thank you for the gift of memberships. Should have known that was the case. Liam, Vash Skywalker created a nifty little DC20 initiative tracker for simple combat and gave me the opportunity to beta test it. Vash for contributing is awesome person of the week. Vash Skywalker. What a sick name. I love that. Awesome, Vash. Liam, show me a summon spell. I already talked about that. Sayed, I got that. Mantic, watching my 4-year-old. Is this guy real? Yes, he is, Milo. The spells are awesome looking. Hi, Milo. That's so cool, Mantic. So you show him a picture that we took together. Me and you, we've met. Keep Knucklebone, keep doing what you're doing. Love your work. Thank you, Knucklebone. I read that earlier too. Simon, you said it. Magazine is equivalent to Unearthed Arcana in D&D, but controlled. People always find things to complain about, and they're often only the loud few. Thank you, Simon. I appreciate that. I do. It is easy to lose track of that sometimes. Reddit has told me lately the wider community is too volatile. Leave early access to passionate community members. Yeah. I see it. I appreciate you guys. And then Dustbreaker, Wizard of the Coast. I got that one too. Nerd Doctor, what's up, buddy? Can't wait to add your 3 shot to DC20 Forge. It seamlessly adds new scenes except for into DM screen with easy run encounter builder. Yeah, I think that I'm going to give you early access to that too, Nerd Doctor, because there's going to be a period of time where I have it, but I can't release it yet because we're putting all the art into it. So you'll have early access to that and all the art, and you can put that into DC20 Forge for sure. Path of Most Resistance, late fee. That said, your Kickstarter, the vast amount of giveaways, the consistent communication, 2 to 3 per week. Oh my gosh, Path of Most Resistance, thank you. The genuine concern for the community, patron, backer, everyone else is unique in all my Kickstarter experience. Oh my gosh. Thank you for that, dude. I try so hard to have had you say that. I don't know if that made sense. I try really hard to make sure that sentiment comes across. So I thank you for that, Path of Most Resistance, that I'm going above and beyond what a normal Kickstarter experience is. That's my goal, because I am so grateful and thankful for being in this position and having the success that Kickstarter had, right? Heck yeah, let's go. Thank you, Path. Jekyll Geek, the amount of spells in .10 is crazy. Are you still doing 0.5? Yes. There's a lot of spells to add. You know what? We can talk about that next live stream. We can talk about that next live stream. The spells that are going, like the spells that didn't make the cut, but like are going to be in dot five. I think that'd be a good thing to talk about in the live stream and expand on, right? For sure. I want to see Moonbeam. Maybe I'll do the sneak peek of that next week. And then, are you concerned with multiple repeated saves on the same target, slowing and confused combat? So far, Jason, I think that is one of the notes I would say I have as far as watching out for the amount of checks and saves, especially from repeated things. That is something to watch out for. I think right now, from playtesting, I think the good feels outweigh it, and I think for game balance, it's also good and healthy. If we were to have to not give repeated saves, the spells, I would have to choose. All right, well, if there's no more repeated saves, it's either going to be weaker or stronger. Oh, you know what I'm saying? So I like the design space we have flexibility-wise. I think that prompts to more flexibility and being able to make cooler spells. But it's something we're going to watch out for sure, right? Kiskun, 86. Got the last part. You're a cool dude, coach. Keep on keeping on. Thank you for that, man. Thank you. Y'all are too nice. Just saying nice things in the super chat. That's all you're saying. Appreciate you. Kyle, we are 28 sessions deep in a DC20 campaign. Our third session up on YouTube now. 2-hour sessions. Voyage of Legacies. Let's go, y'all. Hey, Kyle, are y'all gonna be dot 10? Y'all dot 10? Y'all gonna be dot 10 now? You gotta give them spells. Give them the spells. Give your players the spells, Kyle. Come on. I want to see those new spells. Afari Knox said, Kyle, message me when your players do have the new spells and your first session you release with the new spells. I want to know that. Afari Knox said, don't hate haters. Don't let haters put you down. Now is a time of joy. Negative Nellies can't ruin Christmas spirit. Doing Christmas one shot on Sunday. Stoked. Let's go, Afari. Appreciate you, dude. That means a lot, man. Thank you, dude. And then a tip for Mortal. Let's go, Mortal. Yes, for the Chaos Bomb. Very well deserved. T-Dog, will there be spell dueling updates and to be complete on next release? Spanx Coach, we got New Year's game coming with food and super excited spells. Yes, spell duels and combo casting have been updated in .10 as well. So stay tuned for that. Yes. And then Caleb Trayer, thanks T-Dog. Caleb Betrayer, the dedication to the foundation of the system stable and future-proofed, especially designing the future classes being unique and balanced, is the reason I think DC20 is going to be the greatest TTRPG yet. Oh my gosh. Let's go. Thank you, Caleb. That's the goal, man. I'm not trying to just make a quick buck and spin it around and get out another TTRPG. I'm trying to make something that is going to last. That's awesome. Thank you, dude, for real. And then Dorian Blake, I love everything releasing so far. Keep it going. Thank you, Dorian. Thanks for joining the team. Nice little icon there. Did you draw that? And then Frederick, spells so good, so hyped for complete 0.10. Yes, let's go. Hey, we're hitting Christmas for sure, baby. No worries. Vault of Velios, looks like I'll be publishing a lot of magic items with spellcasting magic properties for now. Insane work, coach and team. Fully support your style. Oh my gosh, it's so worth it. Let's go, Vault of Velios. And that's what I see. Vault of Velios, you make such a good point. Pick any spell. Pick one DC20 spell. It's a magic item. You know what I'm saying? It's a magic item. It's so cool. Yep. You get it. Lord Barrington. Good evening, sir. Everything sounded great tonight. Glad to hear the haters haven't got you down. It's becoming an amazing game and system. Can't wait for the release before Christmas. Oh, Merry Christmas. Lord Barrington, thank you for that. I do love speaking and reading his messages every time. Lord Barrington, thank you. You're awesome. Liam, more maneuvers in 0.10.5? I don't think that we have any maneuvers slated for 0.10.5. If there was one, there'd be one. There was one maneuver that got cut. So there might be added one. We'll see about that, but no, it's just spells. And then speaking of magazines, what's next month? Aha! I saw this coming. And while I answer this question, I hydrate. Everybody say something in the chat for the giveaway. The January PDF is an adventure, Escape from the Mithril Mines. I will do a sneak peek on that next week. Next week I will give a sneak peek on that, and I will showcase a brand new monster that is in. It is maybe one of the most iconic new lore world building monsters added to DC20. It's in Escape from the Mithril Mine. It's an adventure. It's a little one shot type situation. That's going to be the January DC20 magazine. February is adventure rewards, magic items, boons, essentially what is may or may not be in some way bonus level up perk type things in February. And then March is some monsters with a focus on giants and dragons, like giants and dragons is March DC20 magazine. So boom, there you go. Awesome person of the week goes to Liam. Nerd Doctor countered your awesome person of the week and sent it right back to you, bro. Heck yeah. So there we go. Mithril, sing it. Giveaway. And you got 10 seconds. Winner. Next week, we are going to do another spell showcase. Showcase of the next DC20 magazine. Talk and announcing, because it's on the 23rd, right before Christmas. And we'll talk about the 0.10 release on the stream. We'll see what happens. It'll be a party. Merry Christmas, DC, everybody from Wandering Wookie. Thanks, Wandering Wookie. We getting .10. We getting .10 from the Dungeon Claws himself. Oh my gosh, the Dungeon Claws. Wow, DC must. Oh, Wandering Wookie, that was great. That was amazing, Wandering Wookie. Thank you for that. Winner, hashtag winner. Here comes 3, 2, 1. Boom. This is a copy of DC20 all feature updates. Monster Starter Pack. I got some news about the Monster Starter Pack too. And the winner is Joey Norwood. And he subscribes to this channel. Let's go, Joey. Let's go, Joey. Joey, go to Discord, message the moderator, approve yourself, make sure you confirm who you are, and then we'll get you hooked up, set up. You get a if you back the Kickstarter, you also get a free book, free dice. You get to choose extra bonus, right? Thanks for responding about the blacksmithing description. Oh yeah, heck yeah, Reluctant. I'm happy to keep up the great work. Merry Christmas. Reluctant is a literal blacksmith in real life, and is gonna took some notes on what his knowledge he was dropping me. So stay creative. Think outside the box, y'all. Peace.